Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Gurudeva Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Narayana. Hari Om and greetings from Niagara Falls. How many of you have ever experienced a lucid dream? A lucid dream is when you are in a dream and you know that you're in a dream. So a lucid dream is when you're dreaming, but you know you're in a dream. And because you know you're in a dream, you can really do whatever you want. You can fly, you can swim, you can create. And there's actually a technique on how to trigger lucid dreaming, how to make this happen. During your waking state, you have to keep asking yourself, is this real? Am I dreaming? Is this real? Is this real? Is this real? If you did this many times while you're awake, you'll have that habit or that propensity to do the same while you're dreaming, correct? Is this real? Is this real? Is this real? And eventually that answer will come that this is not real. And that's when the lucid dream begins. Did you all follow that? This is like a psychology class that we're going through right now. Our yatras are the same way. All of us are so busy in our schooling, in our working, in our familial lives that we sometimes forget, we often forget, that the purpose of living is to learn to be happy, to learn to be happiness. Our yatra is a check on what is real to us, what is important to us, where we come, where are we going. In Manah Shodanam, in the 9th shloka, Pujya Swami Tejomayananda is sharing that purity releases peace. Purity releases peace. And we can appreciate this in a worldly way. The purer gold is, the more that value is released, correct? A very dangerous substance that people are using right now is fentanyl. I think that's how you pronounce it. And someone was telling me how such small amounts of this can cause deep illness and death to people. And the purer it is, the more dangerous it is, right? Now we have to take the same, but towards the positive. The more shodhana our manaha goes through, the more pure our mind becomes, the more we come to know our potential, we come to know who we really are, which is peace. And in Shloka 10, Swami Tejomayananda is guiding us to evolve from swartha to swatma. What does swartha mean? Selfishness, where my only purpose is Suartha, what do I get? But swatma is not what do I get, it's who am I? To go from selfishness to selflessness, and that comes when the person that we're living for, when the boss in our life becomes Bhagwan. A gauge of our evolution is how whom we work for, who we live for, goes higher and higher and higher. And the highest person you can work for, the most authoritative person you can live for is Bhagwan. Which is why Swami Tejamananda says, I'm continuing with this text. The next portion I'm doing for Shri Parameshwara Priti Artham, the purpose of pleasing my Lord. We're now on Shloka 11. You all know this, correct? Raga dveshadaya kamaha. Raga dveshadaya kamaha. Krodha lobhadayo picha. Krodha lobhadayo picha. Ahankarasthatha swarthaha. Ahankarasthatha swarthaha. Vividha manaso malaha. Vividha manaso malaha. We'll read this again together at the end, after we try to understand the message some more. A difference between the writing of Swami Tejamananda and Swami Chinmayananda is simplicity. Swami Tejamananda is a very simple writer, and that doesn't mean better or worse, but you'll see with these shlokas how simple the meter is, the meaning is. Okay. Raga, what does raga mean? Likes. Where there's raga, there naturally will be dvesha, dislikes, and adi means etc. And here adi really means etc., 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 etc. There's no end to that. Raga, dvesha, etc. Kama. Kama means desire. Where there's desire, naturally there's going to be krodha, or anger. Where there's anger, there's naturally going to be lobha, or greed. And then the word adi is used again, etc., in case we forgot. In case we think this is all that there is, etc., etc., etc. So likes, dislikes, desire, anger, greed, etc. What are all of these? So let's go back to Atma Bodha. Acharya Shankara says in Atma Bodha that raga and dvesha are, there's a chat room for all of those who remember. What is raga and dvesha? What does he compare raga and dvesha to? Yes, Rakshasas. Raga and dvesha are compared to being demons. Do you know what the word Rakshasa means? I'd shared this in the Vedanta and Ramayana course. A Rakshasa is someone you need raksha from. Someone you need protection from. That person is a demon. So raga and dvesha are rakshasas. We need protection from these likes and dislikes. Okay. Now, kama, krodha, and lobha. And here I reference Vedanta and Ramayana again. In the chat room, tell me, who is the icon for kama or desire in Ramayana? There's many, but one which I'm not too sure you'll get. As I preface it like that, you know I'm not asking for Ravana. It is Raja Dashrata. He is an icon for kama or lust. We keep thinking that he had 3 wives. How many wives did he have? 365. The youngest was Keikei. She was the most attractive, and he was lost in her. She was never to get any of that payasam, that pudding. Pudding is not a good translation for payasam, but whatever. But he was drawn to her. So he's the icon for kama. Then who's the icon for krodha? Who's the most angry in Ramayana? Shurpanakha is a good example. Keikei. Keikei is angry. After Raja Dasharatha tells Bhagwan Rama that you will become the next king, he goes back not to his palace, he goes to Keikei's palace. Remember I told you he was desirous, lusty? And where was she? In the anger room. Isn't that fascinating that there was rooms where if you're angry, you go to that room? It's so good, it's so contained then. Every room of our home is an anger room now. Even the bathroom's an anger room. How can you be angry in a bathroom? But even that's possible. So she's the icon for anger. And what's fascinating about Ramayana is that in each kanda, in each chapter, there's one character that keeps the katha moving along. And you know who that character is in one of the kandas? Who is the icon for lobha or greed? Mandara. She is greedy that she doesn't want to become a lost handsmaid, servant. That if Mother Keikei becomes the queen, she becomes the primary. They have so many weird names for this, wet nurse, etc., etc. So she's greed. Have you ever thought of Raja Dasharatha, Mother Keikei, and mantra like that? We tend not to. And that's the deeper message in what Guruji is sharing. We have to objectify these vices. Objectifying these vices means they are not you. I may have anger, but that is different than me being angry. To objectify these vices is a way to make the mind pure. I actually studied this text from Swamini Vimalananda also, and she had shared, objectifying the vices means accepting without denying. Another way to objectify these vices, I shared with you right now, is that each of these characters is really an object towards that subjective experience. She said we have to accept that we have these vices. Because by denying them, we never do anything about it, correct? If I deny that I'm physically unhealthy, or I deny that my kitchen sink is dirty, that doesn't make it go away. It just ferments and becomes worse. So acceptance without denial. Sharing this in a even more practical way. Likes, dislikes, desire, anger, greed have to be diluted. You can't all of a sudden not be angry, but they all have to be diluted. So, instead of having likes and dislikes, we should have preferences. I prefer Rajma over Bindi. But if I have a like for Rajma and Bindi comes, all of a sudden I'm shaken, correct? How do you dilute desire? By desiring development. Our desires right now are for pleasure, possession, but if I desire development, then that helps me grow, correct? In our meditation in life class, I said we have to desire desirelessness. What should you be angry towards? Being indulgent. I should be angry when I'm angry. I should be angry at myself for giving into anger. You start to dilute it. I should be greedy for satsang. I should be greedy for opportunities to serve. So these are ways where we objectify the vices. We're accepting them. We're not denying them, but we're externalizing. And the source for all of this, in the next line, ahankara. What are some English words for ahankara? English words for ahankara. Ego. I'm looking for another one. Inus. Arrogance. Loss of God. Separation. Separation. When I live by ahankara, which means I did, I do, I will do. The focus is that I and not you. So there's a separation. I'm doing this, so I deserve this. Ahankara is the grandparent. The parent is kama, desire. The grandkids, we've heard two of their names, which are krodha and lobha. So this is like a really vicious family tree. And the culture of this whole family is swartha. That word is used here, which is selfishness. For someone who's selfish, what do they feel? A selfish person, how would you describe a selfish person? They feel empty. What's another word for empty? Sad. Selfish people are the most sad people. Separation makes one feel sad. In the context of the happiness series, separation makes me feel lonely. So with all of these vices, I feel separate, I feel sad. We have to be careful not to justify our ego and our vices. Sometimes it's not even we justify them, we're proud of them, isn't it? How many people are proud about how long they procrastinate? How people are proud of how little they studied for an exam. That's not something to be proud of. You should be studying for your exam, and so on and so forth. As long as we justify and feel pride, will we ever do anything about these vices? Which really means we haven't accepted them. We've only denied that they're even harmful. To be careful about that. And here is where there's a difference between popularity, what is popular, and what is proper. We almost look up to people who are angry, but we call them assertive, isn't it? Those people are the alpha personalities. But that's smartness without goodness. So they do have pleasure, they do have possession and position, but what they don't have is peace. That peace is not there. Live properly, not what everyone else is doing. In the next verse, well, we'll chant this verse. The next verse, there's a lovely way to really treat this objectification, not theoretically, but factually. Let's read verse 11 together again. Raga dveshadaya kamaha krodha lobhadayo picha ahankarastata swartaha Vivida manaso malaha. Vivida manaso malaha. These are the various deficiencies, impurities of the mind. Mala, that dirt. Next. Ete sarve hi drishyante. Ete sarve hi drishyante. Chitte chalati jagrati. Chitte chalati jagrati. Pralinam cha yada chittam. Pralinam cha yada chittam. Naitesham drishyate gatihi. Naitesham drishyate gatihi. Swami Tejomayananda shares. Ete sarve. Ete means what we just studied. All of those vices. Sarve, all of them. Hidrishante. When do you see all of these vices? Chitte chalati. When the mind is moving. When is the mind moving? Jagrati. While we are awake, during the waking state. These vices that we have, they're actually just thoughts. And these thoughts, they come from separation. The more separate I feel, the more I think. The less separate I feel, the more I'm quiet. So these vices are just thoughts. These thoughts come from separation. Now, when does separation go away? When we're asleep, right? Since separation goes away, what else goes away? Thoughts. And if thoughts go away, what else goes away? Vices. When you're asleep, do you feel jealousy? Are you a bitter sleeper? The mind is dormant. And all that comes out of the mind, those thoughts of vices, all of those become dormant too. So are you angry? Or do you have anger that's sometimes expressed, as in the waking state, and sometimes not expressed, as in the sleep state? Which is it? Whenever we're feeling these vices, it's dukkha. Correct? The waking state is dukkha, which is why we want to sleep. And people drink alcohol for that, people take drugs for that, anything for that nivrittihi, anything for letting go of that dukkha. It's called dormancy. But that doesn't mean it goes away. Pralinam cha yada chittam. Pralina means like pralaya, during sleep. The sleep, the mind. Na etesham drishyate gatihi. In that state, we don't see all of these vices, these thoughts, these separations. Dormancy. The mind is dormant, everything with it is dormant also. And there's a very technical word in understanding to this. It's called invariable concomitance. How many of you have heard of this before? When I was studying this shloka today, I was laughing to myself, smiling to myself, and Sheila was asking why. Because when Guruji was talking about this, he doesn't like these big technical words, so he's like, the law of invariable concomitance. He's really just stretching it on. And when I was thinking about when A depends on B, and B is not there, then A is not there, right? That's the law of invariable concomitance. So it reminded me of that. So I'll say that again. If B is there and A is there, and then B is not there, so A is not there, that means A depends on B. Let's change these then. If B is there, that is the mind, and A is there, that is the vices. Now B is not there, that is the mind, and A depends on the B. The vices depend on the mind. When the mind is not there, what happens to the vices? They're not there. We have to stop having faith that we are the mind. But to get to that, we have to stop having faith that we are these vices. I've shared with all of you, we have this propensity to be negative. If you received and read the Vichara, I've started to list out the 9 types of negative thoughts we have. We first have to learn, we have to come out of being negative to learning to be happy. Once you learn to be happy, you learn to be happiness. So that's that evolution from tamas to, I don't want to call it rajas, but finally to being sattvic and beyond. So that's what Swami Tejomayananda is sharing here. This nivrittihi, this letting go of, that happens unconsciously when we go to sleep. The implication is that we have to have the same nivrittihi when we're awake. You can't sleep all the time. You can't be in a state of stupor through shopping and eating and running and so on. There has to be that element of being responsible. My dharma, that same nivrittihi, which is letting go of identification with the vices, with the thoughts, with the separation. If I let go of that identification, I let go of that limitation. So this is a package that's being shared here. These are the vices. These vices are expressed as thoughts. These thoughts are because of separation. But think. The mind, which is of the nature of thoughts, it comes out as these vices, but the mind is not always there. So how can I say I'm the mind? How can I say I'm the products, the expressions of the mind? In reference to Upadeshsara, this is the path of jnana. For all of those in the Upadeshsara course, this shloka we are going to go into in such a systematic way. You're going to love studying this portion of Upadeshsara. That's the beauty of Sanatana Dharma, is that one text can take you into 10 other texts and take you into 10 more texts. And that's why we should stop going to school and quit our jobs and just keep studying our scriptures. What an amazing life we would have. Oh.